Hello there, and welcome to the SBC Leaders Podcast. My name is Andrew McCarron, Managing Director at SBC. And through this podcast, we hope to provide you with a new perspective of the different leadership styles that are used by the key people in the gambling industry and beyond. Joining me today is Anton Kuchukidze. He's the chair of the Ukrainian Gambling Council. Anton, how are you doing?
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for your interest. I'm very glad to see you and to take part in this activity.
Can you tell us a bit more about the Ukrainian Gambling Council, the role it plays, and obviously the invasion happened earlier on this year. How did the industry adapt to it, and what role did the Ukrainian Gambling Council play in that adaptation?
Ukrainian Gambling Council is the biggest professional NGO in Ukraine. In the sphere of gambling industry, we unite if we talk about the share of percentage of the whole market, near 80% of the whole legal market. It is our association. We have more than 14 legal operators from the different sphere of legal gambling, because in Ukraine we have different types of legal gambling, starting from online casino, and then we have online poker, legal online poker, betting, land-based slot halls, and land-based casinos. So we have all the representatives of these spheres and types of legal gambling in our association. Also, we have some B2B companies in our association. So we have a good experience and good practice knowledge with our operators about what is the gambling, what is main feature for development, and what trends in the whole industry can be. We as association know exactly about some problems which operators have concerning developing the industry. If we talk about the period before the war, today it is reasonable and understandable that we have only one big problem, war with Russian aggressor. And, before the war, we think that some legislation problems are very crucial for the development of industry. And after the war, we understand that legislation problems were not so big as war. So unfortunately, today we have such existential challenges, not only professional challenges, but thanks our office, thanks my colleagues, we didn't stop our activity even when war started. We continued our activity. We had two main tasks. First task was to save that dialogue which we had before the war with the government, with the regulator, and the second main task was to share information about legal gambling in the period of war. What does it mean? We demonstrated that legal gambling is with Ukraine, that it is responsible and patriotic business.
I see one of your key roles is highlighted in the illegal advertising that's been happening at the moment. Has that been as a result of the invasion, where it can be hard to get attention to those kind of things that are harming the licensed and taxpaying industry?
On the one hand, it is really the result of invasion. On the other hand, it is a result of different factors. What are these factors? First factors that many illegal operators considered that the government is busy with war, so they could pay less attention on such issues, etc., and they started their illegal advertising activity. It is first factor. The second factor is that, and I'm very grateful for a lot of Western companies which stopped their business activity in Russia, and gambling was not also exclusion from this rule. And when big Western companies stop their activity in Russia, and when Russian gambling companies had problems with payments, with the organization of gambling business, etc., they started to find appropriate jurisdiction to save their businesses, to develop their businesses, etc. And online Russian operators started to use in very big amount online traffic of Ukrainian consumers. And it was the second reason we had a lot of advertising in online segment from the Russian companies. It can be sounded very strange during the war with Russia, but we had such reality that really they wanted to demonstrate for our consumers their business, that play with them can be responsible, etc., and they started really very big and even I can say that very tough advertising strategy. This is also two main factors because of what we had. Unfortunately, very big rise of illegal advertising in online segment. We as association created special mechanism for communication with regulator and other responsible state bodies to struggle against this illegal advertisement. We had some good results. On the other hand, we had some process concerning different companies, but we are in process of struggling against these bad factors because advertising of gambling, if we talk about philosophy of gambling, it is our face. And if people see only give money, and you win, they will start thinking that it is not normal business. It is only for money, and where is their entertainment? It will be very difficult to prove them that it is about entertainment, but not about money. So because of it, we really continue to struggle against such Russian operators and such illegal operators which have such bad advertisement strategies for the Ukrainian market.
So one of the things that it's hard for us to sort of envisage being on a war footing and still participating in gambling is essentially a leisure pursuit. I mean, how important is keeping entertainment and hobbies going during such a serious time for the country?
We had two difficult months. There were March and April. A lot of our people during these 2 months resolved all their problems which were connected with war directly. And after that, they started thinking about some entertainment, some restaurants, some cinemas, etc., etc. Even I can tell about myself. For example, when I was in Kiev in March, it was difficult to find people on the streets. Really difficult. You could see a lot of military presence, a lot of defense on the streets, but it was difficult to find some restaurant, some places for cafe, etc., etc. And if I'm not mistaken, for example, cinema was opened in Kiev, for example, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of April or in the end of May. So, and psychologically, it was really a period when people started thinking about other things, not only the war. People understood that even during the war it is possible to work, it is possible to have some free time, it is possible to meet with friends, etc., etc. And our people are very responsible, and during March and April, all mechanisms for supporting government, army, etc., were built by people individually, collectively. It doesn't matter, but psychologically, it was also a very crucial question for people. And the same with gambling. When we looked at online traffic, we saw that March, April declining at the level of 80%. In May, we saw that the traffic started to renew. It is obvious that it is not, such big traffic before the war. Even today, in September, it is not traffic before the war, but nevertheless, we have some progress, systematical progress, and today I can say that how it can be possible in circumstances of war, our people live in the most wide understanding of this word with entertainment. We have open legal casinos and slot halls in central and in western part of our country. Western regions and central regions today are the center of land-based gambling. And for sure that land-based gambling depends on tourists. Unfortunately, we have not such big tourist traffic today, but nevertheless, we have internal players, and they won't play responsible. responsibly. And they have such opportunity, and it is also important to understand that a lot of people from, for example, eastern regions today are in western regions, in Lviv, Ivano-Frankivsk, etc., etc. So for these regions, so-called tourist traffic is a reality, but the reason of this tourist traffic
It's more displaced people.
Yeah. Internally displaced persons, but they have the opportunity to play and to have entertainment, to visit restaurants, etc., etc. So they are not only, problem people. There are also different types of people with money for play.
Well, I mean, what I found interesting is that you're still managing to push forward for some legal changes to the gambling laws, and the fact that you're able to push forward for that, and there's still the mechanism in government where they can still enact those kind of changes while everything's going on. From what I've seen, one of the reasons for you for pushing for that is to encourage more investment into Ukraine. You said there's quite a lot of external companies wanting to invest into the gambling industry in the Ukraine. So why do you think the market's so attractive to them?
The market is attractive because of high professional level of our people, especially in the IT sphere. Before the gambling was legalized in 2020 in Ukraine, there were a lot of, I can't say back offices, but some offices of big Western companies from B2B sphere, from different gambling spheres, and they recruited our Ukrainian professionals. They had offices, etc., etc. So they had business before legalization of gambling in Ukraine, and after legalization, there was crucial question about taxes, about tax policy for gambling, and unfortunately, we had some problems with the adoption of the appropriate law. But our association does its best for adopting this law. We have different communications with different officials. They have appropriate understanding, and we are waiting for this decision. Why big Western companies don't have licenses in Ukraine? It is the issue of tax policy. I can't call the name of these companies, frankly speaking. I want to be correct and like diplomat, but it is not secret for people who are in this sphere and who were in this sphere before legalization that Western companies were in Ukraine, they had interest in Ukraine, etc., etc. But we also understand their problems which connected with calculations, and these financial calculations depend on tax policy. So it is the main task today, and if the law is adopted, we will see a lot of big companies in Ukraine.
Do you feel you're winning that argument on the tax changes at the moment?
We should do the second step for legalization. We made first step. We legalized market, and the second step, which we should make tax changes. When we have tax changes, at that moment, I will say that legalization is finalized.
You can't really have one without the other if you're still running on an old tax regime, that's for sure. I mean, with regards to your background, Anton, you've been working in the political sphere for a long time. How did you find yourself in the gambling industry and with the Ukrainian Gambling Council?
11 years, this market was closed in Ukraine, and I can say today that I had a lot of communications with different group of influence, with different companies, which really wanted to legalize market in Ukraine, and they asked me all times about political situation, political circumstances, how it can be, etc., etc., and they were correct. Why? Because the legalization issue of any sphere, it is always at the level of government, at the level of president, prime minister. It depends on the structure of your government in different countries, but legalizing of any sphere always depends from political will. And because of it, I really was known like expert on international relations, political analyst, etc. But during this my work, I also had a lot of communication concerning political focus concerning legalization. So I'm not a new person for gambling market, but it is natural that before legalization we had not such big opportunity to talk to media concerning this issue, etc., etc. And I'm very grateful for our president, Mr. Zelensky, that he declared his aim to struggle against shadow economy, and one part of struggling against shadow economy was legalizing of gambling. It was August of 2019, and since that time in media I started to support this idea. So as conclusion, I can say that gambling is tightly connected with policy, with the state policy. And I think that we should study a lot of from, for example, from Great Britain, from different other Western jurisdictions, because you have a big experience of civilized market, and you have not now problem with political speculation such big as Ukraine has now. It is obvious that there is no any country without political speculations. But we in Ukraine we have very tough speculations concerning gambling market, even awful speculations. So I think that such situation was very predictable. So I did all my best from the political point of view to support this market. And answering on your second part of question about how I became the head of the biggest association, my first step during legal market was that I became a member of expert council of the Gambling Commission, and then we started thinking about creating professional association, and some companies and also some leaders of the reform proposed my candidacy as the head, and I'm very grateful for all of them such experience and such partnership that we have during last 2 years.
SBC are a very proud member of the UGC, and we were very happy to work with you, at least on last year's event that we held in Kiev, and hopefully we'll be able to do another one of those sooner rather than later. I mean, we're coming to the end of our time here. Is there one more message that UGC want to give to the international audience at the moment?
Be brave like Ukrainians.
That's a great way to finish us off. So, Anton, thank you very much for your time and good luck.
Thank you very much.